Welcome to Municipals or Foes, at the crossroads of seriousness and silliness, a look at small town politics in rural Oklahoma. We're discussing if your municipality is really your friend or foe. I'm Lauren Fuller, along with my co host Mike Similescu, and today we are discussing the upcoming race for a city council seat in Ward 2. And we have one of our candidates here with us for this episode, Lisa Jensen. Lisa, welcome to the podcast. We're
Welcome,
so glad to
Lisa.
have you. Take a few minutes, tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us who you are, why you want to run for this seat in city council, and why people should consider you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Mike, for having me on here. This is definitely a little step out of my comfort zone. Don't do many podcasts, but I am a dedicated mother of two. I am a small business professional here in Durant and just an advocate for the community. I am a transplant, but I've been here 4.5 years, and service has really been that core value in my family, raised with it from very early on. And it's something I try to live out daily, just through my work and volunteer involvement. Running for city council, because I just want to be more involved, listen to residents, be a true voice for the people. And Durant, when I moved here, really just had a special kind of magic to it. And I really just want to carry that on and help protect what our city has here. And it's a great place to live. And I just want to make sure I support it with thoughtful and responsible growth.
Awesome. Well, running for city council is a huge task, and you've got a lot of work ahead of you. And so tell us, how's the campaign going? What are you hearing from constituents to this point?
Mainly, the main thing we hear about is roads, right? We need our roads fixed. However, that's a big part of the infrastructure. And as long as we're focusing on the infrastructure, the roads will eventually be fixed. And just really, really focusing on that clear communication, right? From the residents to the city and back and forth from the city to the residents, and just making sure it's as transparent as we possibly can make it.
Awesome. And so, Lisa, you have got quite a bit of work ahead of you. Campaigning is no easy task. And I know there's probably a few things that you yourself have identified that are important to you and valuable to you that you would like to maybe tackle or ask the questions about initially. What are some of those bigger issues that you're looking to tackle?
Bigger issues. I would say, well, one, infrastructure is a big issue. And I know the current city council is working on a lot of those issues. But the other one is really just more of that transparency. It's that communication, right? One thing my kids have really taught me as being a mother is listening. I have had to learn how to listen and understand their viewpoint and have a conversation just back and forth. And I feel like that's really the main focus with residents and a city that's in a growth phase. And I feel like that Durant is in that growth phase. It's just listening.
Yeah. What do you think the city could do to be more transparent or a better communicator?
Just by putting things out there a little bit more. I know the city has done a great job at doing that. It is in the works. Just putting a little bit more information out there. I know we can't share everything. It's not opening, the floodgates and releasing all the information, but just being a little bit more communicative and letting people know exactly what's going on. And there is resources where people can actually go to see a lot of the information that the council is working on, and just making sure that people know how to access that information.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about, from your background, what do you think would help make you a good city council woman?
Well, one, being a mom, learning how to manage different personalities and different kids, for sure. Juggling school schedules, work schedules, things like that. And just that service part, it's being a service to the community, being able to listen and hear what people have to say. And sometimes you don't feel like it. There's that big piece of service. It doesn't matter if I feel like it or not. There's things that need to happen. There's things that need to take place. There's things that need to get done. I hope that answers your question, Mike. If it doesn't, let me know. I can expand on it.
No, I mean, that sounds good. I think you have some experience in service, right? You're in some organizations and some things, right? that could potentially help as well? I feel like because when we met, you had talked about some ministries you're in and some organizations you're in, pretty well connected in the community. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I sit on the board for the Crisis Control Center. I also sit on the board for the Durant Writing Club. Two completely different organizations. But again, just being a part of the community and serving where I can to enhance those resources that our community definitely needs.
Okay. Tell us some of the goals. If you had a goal for your term on city council, what would be like, hey, if I can do this in my time here, what would that be?
Thoughtful growth. I mean, once again, we know the growth is coming, right? And I don't know if you guys have noticed or realized, I talked about this with you, I think, Mike, but sitting in car pickup line just for school pickup, I have noticed a lot more Texas plates in our area. So the growth is there, but it's also preserving that character and magic that Durant has, making sure that we have that sense of community and don't let the growth grow too quickly. But I want it just to remain a place where families feel safe, businesses feel supported, residents feel heard, and just improving, again, that communication between city and residents and supporting that infrastructure planning and a lot of that's already in place.
Very good. Well, we have got what seems to be a good race ahead of us for this seat. It seems like there's some quality applicants and candidates coming up for this seat. And so that makes me excited that, you know, people care about our city enough that they want to be a part of continuing to improve Durant and be an active member in our community. And so what should residents who are on the fence about who to vote for, what sets you apart, Lisa? What makes you the candidate that they should vote for?
Well, one, I'm not really running with an agenda per se. I'm just running to listen and serve. I want to be that calm, respectful approach. I've got a very, very strong work ethic. If you ask my mom, she's always tired when she comes to visit me because I always have way too much going on. So, but not too much where I'm not focused in one area. I have definitely learned over the years on when you're focused and need to be in a specific place and position, you take the time and energy to research and be in that present moment. And I want the voters to just know that they can trust that I'm going to show up prepared, ask questions, and really put the community first and just preserve what a lot of what's already in place, but just needs improvement on.
Okay. Very good. Well, I know as a city council member, there is a lot to learn when you first get into office because there are so many of those questions that are unknown to you right now that all of a sudden, you know, you start getting the information on, becoming aware of. And like you said, a lot of that is very difficult to communicate en masse to the whole community, and it changes your perspective on things. And so sometimes it is a matter of communicating and just being that voice for the community to make sure that information is passed along. And so one of the things that as city council you have to do is you have to weigh a lot of voices in your ear. I mean, it is very easy to get overwhelmed by all the differing opinions when it comes to things and deciphering what it is that you should do. So even though we want to be a really great listener, how do you propose that you are going to be able to kind of decipher how to make decisions when you have so many competing voices?
Follow your gut. It's really just an instinct on really listening and paying attention to what needs to be done. And again, it's not about pleasing everybody because that's not going to happen, but it's keeping the city and the residents in close proximity as best we can in that regard. But just making sure that everyone feels like they do have a voice and that they're heard does make a difference.
That is one thing I struggled with was I definitely wanted people to feel heard. And the problem was the decision didn't always sway in their favor of what their opinion was, and was trying to delicately communicate to them the reasoning why the city makes the decisions they do, because it doesn't always please everybody. And so it was always the most challenging part is when you had to communicate with people that their wishes weren't getting accomplished or done the way they wanted them to. So that is tough. So I commend you for knowing that that is something that is a priority and something that you should take carefully and you know, make sure that you are handling people appropriately because people want to be valued. So that is great. Okay, Lisa, this is a big step. Do you have any questions for us as city council members that we can help answer for you?
Gosh, that is a big question. Just what was well, Lauren, you kind of just shared with us what your biggest challenge was. I'd like to hear from Mike on what he thought his biggest challenge was when he came into city council.
So I think the biggest challenge is learning all the stuff that you didn't know when you were running. I think that's the biggest thing, because even though, and I think we all share that as far as, and if you talk to, Humphrey or Martin or Danny, I think and Lauren, obviously, when you get in, you think you know some stuff, but then there's all kinds of things that you need to learn that you didn't have any idea of, how the processes work at the city. The government's bureaucratic, so you can't just, hey, I'm going to go buy something for whatever it is. It doesn't work that way. You can only buy certain things with only a certain amount of money. If it's beyond a certain amount, it has to go out for bid, because there's different people wanting to sell you things. So there's all kinds of things. We got inaugurated, I think it was like in May, and it was budget season. It was toward the end of budget season. So all of a sudden you show up there, they're like, hey, we need to vote on this budget for June. And it's like, well, okay, we need to learn exactly what's all in this budget because it's difficult. So the nice thing about February is that you'll have some time to ease into it a little bit. Like we didn't have that. So I think that was the biggest challenge is right away starting hitting the ground running with the budgetary stuff and just learning how everything works. And we're still learning, right? So, but at least we have a little bit of a baseline now. Also, I felt like as soon as you get elected, all these people reach out to you right away. And you're wondering why they're reaching out to you right away. Because usually there's people that have some issues or have had issues with the city or whatever it was, and they didn't like the previous answer. So they say, oh, there's some new people that know about this. So they're going to try to see if you can get them to see it your way. So see it their way. So that you gotta be careful with that, because that's subsided after a little while. But it creates some unexpected, and like Lauren said, we want to try to kind of please everybody, but this is a business where you can't please everybody because not everybody supports the decisions that are made, and you have to arbitrate it. It has to be based on what the laws are, the ordinance are, whatever it is. We can't give exceptions to things. So I would say that was another challenge of mine, was having to deal with the people that were trying to get us to do certain things that really wasn't that was decided before or discussed before. So those are the things I found. But really, it's the amount of information you have to learn right when you get in for the budget. That was the biggest, I thought.
Okay.
I mean, don't you think, Lauren? I think that was pretty crazy, the whole budgetary,
the
first
budget's
year
tough.
of the budget, because you had to learn all that stuff so quickly.
Okay.
Well, and you get to look at the city budget and realize just how confined you are. And when you want to talk about roads and how do you fix them, and realize that the amount of money you have, even if you spent your entire year's budget on roads, wouldn't get you very far. It's very frustrating. And so we definitely look at a lot of avenues to be creative and are looking for other funding options to help get things done around the city, and obviously leaning on our partners to help with those projects. So it is a community effort for sure. Okay, Lisa, so recently there was a big council meeting with a lot of people there over an incident. And as Mike said, you are probably going to get a lot of questions about it because it seemed to be a point of misunderstanding within the community. Mike, why don't you take this one over?
Right. So as everybody knows, there's been a rumored potential ICE detention facility in Durant over by Choctaw Nation, over where the old Big Lots distribution center was. I think this rumor kind of started about a month or two ago, something like that. And then it's kind of reoccurred, I guess, to just kind of describe it that way. I'm not convinced there's any kind of new movement, but either way, there's been more discussion about it recently. So we had the city of Durant does not have any ordinances in place to deal with anybody wanting to start a prison, detention center, any of those things. So one of the things that we talked about being proactive, because one of the issues we have in the past is reactivity. So proactivity is important, and the city was being proactive and at least trying to if this does happen, or if there is a concrete plan, which we have not seen a concrete plan, but just, like I said, mostly rumors. We would like to have a seat at the table, to affect some of this, to see if this is a thing that can actually happen, if this is a thing that we can prevent, but at least to be involved in the discussion, because it seems there's a lot of rumors and not a lot of concrete information. So we want to be proactive. So that if you read the agenda, it almost reads like, hey, they're voting on a detention facility. But if you read the actual packet that comes with the agenda and read the actual ordinance, that's not what it says at all. So some people read the ordinance or read the agenda, and then they created some social media, posts, and that caused some concerns and some snowballing effect. And then we had this as far as me, I was more exciting meeting than we've had ever. But obviously, once we got cooler heads, Martin and the mayor and the city attorney explained a little bit, people kind of started to understand that this was not hey, we're going to vote on a detention facility today. We're going to vote on trying to put ordinance in place that can regulate these type of buildings, or potentially prevent these type of buildings, or whatever the case may be. So it was a proactive approach, which I think sort of got through last night. I don't think everybody understood, but it took a little while. Sometimes when the passions and the emotions are going, some people don't want to hear what other people are saying. So, but they're going to ask you about that. So what are your thoughts about the potential detention center at the old Big Lots distribution center, and kind of go from there?
Definitely, the emotions were definitely high last night, and there was a lot of passion and emotion in that meeting. My thoughts on the detention center, I've looked into it a little bit. As far as in-depth information on that or comments, I don't have a lot. I'm not necessarily for it or against it. Again, it's not a definite decision. They haven't stated they're going to be here. I do like the fact that the city did put in an ordinance that they want to be involved in decisions that are coming in like that. And I think that's a great approach to it. There's a lot of concerns, right? I know one of them is, everyone was shouting last night even about, how close a daycare is according to where that building sits. So there's a lot of communication and talk that will come along with it. And I don't think a decision would be made pretty abruptly on that they're just moving in. So again, I'm not for it, against it. I'm going to just roll with the punches as it happens, or as we cross those bridges when we get there. And that's really my opinion or stance on it at this moment.
I have a feeling that's not the last meeting we're going to have about this, but we'll see.
Agreed.
You don't never know, but we'll keep an eye. Like I say, I think that there's truth to that. I don't know what we don't have a concrete plan, so it's hard to comment on, rumors.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
But that's one of the things with being on council that you deal with, is rumors get away really quick within the community, and trying to mitigate and be the voice for the city, but yet not get wrapped up in the drama. I mean, I'd tell you, my first advice is steer clear of the drama on social media, right? It gets carried away. They are quick to be keyboard warriors and to just run you to the ground. But on the same hand, you still want to be an active presence where you are speaking some truth and some reason and letting people know what exactly is going on. And so it is challenging for sure to even begin to broach rumors and how people can hear bits and pieces of what's going on and misconstrue it in 7 different ways. And you're caught going, that's not what's happening. And everybody is upset with you. And, they show up at meetings and they're ready to get passionate about it. And you're going, well, where as a city do we do better communicating and being transparent when some of it just gets away in the rumor mill, right?
Right. And that's where it's really not controllable when it gets and goes viral on social media. It's not really able to be stopped in a certain sense. You can put a different post out that might try and counteract what has been pushed out there. But again, it's just passion. And I feel like it was handled pretty well last night in the council meeting where, if that was to come to fruition and it was to come to Durant, that there would be a public hearing and we would be able to have that forum where people would be able to share their opinions and thoughts behind it. So we're not leaving the community out of the decision if it does come to play or if we do get an agreement on that detention center. So again, we don't know any of that or how it's playing out because again, we're going off just rumors, not concrete information. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, Lisa, we have appreciated your time and you getting to visit with us. Do you have any last words that you want to convey to the community and voters in general about yourself or how to get in touch with you?
Yes. Well, I definitely have a Facebook campaign page. And I'm also going to do every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. You can meet me at Opera House for a Lisa Listens session and just come and sit with me. I'd love to hear different things of what people think about the community of Durant. So that's where I'll be, mainly on the Facebook page, through Messenger, things like that.
What's your campaign page called on Facebook?
Let me look that up real quick because I I think I know it, but let me double check it. Everything's been created so quickly lately that it's hard to keep. I know my email address.
It's a quick turnaround.
It is, yeah. And if anyone wants to email me, they're more than welcome to. They can. That email is lisafordurant@gmail.com. But let's look up that Facebook page real quick. And I'll be around the city handing out little pages that have a QR code that will direct people directly to that Facebook page. So it's Lisa Jensen space Durant City Council.
Okay. Lisa Jensen, Durant City Council.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. We can't say thank you enough for spending a few minutes with us and letting the community know where you are at in this race. And we look forward to seeing how it pans out and how the race turns out. And we wish you the best of luck.
Good luck, Lisa. Good talking to you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time on here and inviting me on.
Of course. All right. Good night.
Good night.